Hi guys, it's Janice. Today we have the book Mr. Moustache. Mr. Moustache has a moustache, a quite splendid moustache, and Mr. Moustache is a nice gentleman. A gentleman is polite and helpful and thoughtful and generous. And Mr. Moustache was all of these things. And all these things made him a really wise person. A wisdom like he likes to share with his friends. He taught that a gentleman always tells the truth, even about the one that got away. And Mr. Moustache taught that a gentleman is unrushed and calm. Should we be running and hurrying all the time? No, we should be early and we should take our time. Even when he's late for kickoff, he will still take his time. On the 1st of November, Mr. Moustache went to the barber for a trim. He was so comfortable in the barber's chair that he fell asleep. But when the barber had finished, Mr. Moustache woke up to a terrible shock. There in the mirror was a reflection of himself, a reflection that had no moustache. The barber had shaved him clean. Oh my goodness. And as the week went on, Mr. Moustache discovered that this was not the only difference. For instance, when he left the baker's, he let the door slam shut on Mr. Nosy's nose. Slam! Ouch! That must have hurt. When he went to Mr. Perfect's house for tea, he did not bother to wipe his feet. Oops, he's gonna make Mr. Perfect's house all dirty. And when he met little Miss Splendid, he told her exactly what he thought of her new hat. Do you think it's something good about her hat? Probably not, judging by her face. Oh dear, said Mr. Moustache to himself. What has happened to me? Losing my moustache has stopped me from being a gentleman. Fortunately for Mr. Moustache, moustaches grow back. Just like your hair and your nails, they grow back. And as it grew, Mr. Moustache found that he became more and more like his old gentleman self. Looking at his slowly growing moustache each day in the mirror, Mr. Moustache had an idea. Maybe growing a moustache may help some of his other friends. Some of his other friends who could learn some manners. So he persuaded his friends to grow a moustache with him in November. And as his friends' moustaches grow, so their behavior changed. Do you think they became nicer as well? Let's see. Even Mr. Grumpy became a little bit more of a gentleman, holding the door open for little Miss Sunshine. Wow, that's quite an improvement. And by the last day in November, Mr. Moustache was back to his old, polite, thoughtful, helpful, and generous self. And all his friends had the most splendid moustaches. Oh, look at that. They've all got moustaches. Particularly Mr. Silly, having a silly moustache. However, the less said about Mr. Sneeze's effort, the better. Yeah, 'cause he keeps sneezing. Now, although Mr. Moustache was back to his old self, there was one new thing in his life. He had learned a new lesson. Never fall asleep at the barber's. So that's the end of the book, Mr. Moustache, with a little bit of moustache at the end. That reminds me of Pringles, the potato chips. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed the story today. I'll see you back soon. Bye.